Hi guys, so here we are for the next episode that will be essentially exploring the Watchtower. It's going to be a pretty boring episode, but I think it will be useful. So essentially, you have these two guys who are essentially renowned vendors.
Wayne Enterprises has been
So in order to
contracted
be
to
able to
supply
buy
gear to
gear
all
from
Heroic
them, you need
allies.
a certain amount of
Take it.
renown with the Wayne Tech faction. So and also you need uh, essentially you need like cooperative renown with Wayne Tech to buy these pieces, and it will probably take a while before you get there. Although there's this other guy also who
The
also
Gotham Police
sell a few
Department works with
pieces.
Wayne Tech to develop cutting-edge new
Essentially,
equipment.
all you need is
I'm
neutral
certain we have
renown,
something
which
we
we
can
have,
use.
but also there are level requirements. So those pants require level 15. These boots require level 25. We're not there yet. And this chest requires level 8, which we could buy, but I won't waste any money buying that. So over here you'll find the banks. So essentially this is our character's bank. So we could store items in here. Pretty straightforward. You click on the thingy, it appears in the bank. You click on the thingy, it comes back to your inventory. Pretty basic. This here is the shared bank. So uh, let's take this style. Essentially, I'm going to try to level up this character as if it was my only character, but I'm going to cheat a bit for the gauntlet because they're going to be useful to achieve the look, Wolverine's look. But for now, but they have a level requirement of level 11, so for now we'll leave the gauntlet here. And essentially, it's just a style of pants that I had. So here we go. The reason why I did not sell these two items to the vendor is because I'll show you. Essentially, if I sold those blasters and those axes to the vendors, I would get something like
Want to get a better
almost
deal?
nothing.
I make sure to sell
I will
only
get
the
like
best
$65
just
and
as you.
$59. Not really worth it. If you can, try to take the habit of using the auction house. Sure, you have. I think you have to be legendary. I don't think premium players can use it, but it's the best option to make a bit more money. So okay, not sure why it wasn't working, but anyways. So essentially, what I end up doing is I usually look up the name of the item. I'll select one of the words that I think will stand out, which in this case is Cynthium, and I have it right here. And essentially, I look up, is there any other Cynthium axes for sale? So I'll go through everything here. Miniature items. I am a bit surprised. There doesn't seem to be any. So as you can see, people will ask all kinds of prices for their items. It can be difficult at first to decide how much to ask. Do you want to ask too much, too little? I don't think the Synthium items are that rare and that difficult to get. So I will try not to be too greedy. I'll try to sell them for let's try for $10,000. So essentially, when you put up stuff for sale, you have to put in a deposit for the item. So you really want it to sell, otherwise you pretty much wasted your deposit. And here, these are Protoline Blaster gloves. So let's try just with Proto maybe. Protoline. See here, there's a guy who's asking for $56,000. We won't ask that much. Anyway, I don't have that much to offer anyways. So let's see. Let's try. We won't be able to. Yeah, we don't have enough money for 10,000. Well, let's go for 5,000. It's only money. So we'll put it for 48 hours. Submit. So essentially, if all goes well and within the next 2 days, these items will sell and we'll have a few extra bucks. Oh, here's a ring from Oracle. Oh, and it's better than what I have. So let's go sell that.
You'll never get a better deal. I make sure to sell only the best to the Justice League.
Here we have an investigation.
It's Oracle.
Here we have the crafting station, which I will explain shortly. We'll have a quest to do that.
These heroes are mentored by Batman.
So right now we must go to the central hub to access the console. Oh yes, before I forget. Essentially, in your inventory, one of your mission should have given you an XP plus booster box. Essentially, it's an item that will make you gain experience point faster. Essentially, gives you 50% more experience for 1 hour. So I would, if you ever wanted to use that, I'd say the moment is now. Because we're going to have a few quests in here that will be pretty quick to complete. And it should be good for a couple of extra experience points. Oh, and we have a listener. So essentially, we're going to explore the Watchtower in this episode and try to help out new players to get their bearings within this big place. I remember the first time I was in here, I was a bit lost. So like if you get a bit lost being here, don't worry, it happens.
Welcome to the heart of the Watchtower. This is where the Martian Manhunter determines our global alerts from data in the monitor womb.
And in here you'll see some fun iconic characters, as you saw Martian Manhunter, the Huntress, some Green Lanterns flying around.
Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman coordinate the League. Only official Justice League members can enter the hall.
And we even have the Huntress giving us a mission, so let's do that.
You'll need to do some detective work. Clues open up investigations, collections, and briefings to aid the good fight. Or
Essentially,
is it
this mission
engage
with
your
the
interface to
Huntress
show
is the
colored
tutorial
markers when
to
valuable
explain to you
information is
what the
near?
collections are
Find one here in the Watchtower,
and how to find
then
them.
come back to me.
So you, of course, you accept. Let's go get. Usually the collection is somewhere around here, or the investigation, I should say. There we go.
Oracle here.
Then we can go back to
That
see the
holo
Huntress
token
once more.
represents the hub, the core of the Watchtower, the seat of heroic.
Yep, that'd be a clue. See how many you can bring in, and I'll let the question know you're on the case. She's not much of one for crowds, so just check your email. Happy hunting.
So essentially, she's letting you know that you're going to do these investigations for the question, and she's more or less explaining to you how the whole thing works. It's pretty simple, so it's not a big deal. So now we have to locate the war room, which is not here, which is down here. The confusing thing about the Watchtower is that there's multiple levels, so you're never sure. Like you see the half of the X where you're supposed to go, but since it's on another level, you only see half of it. Like you see now, we see the full X because this is where we have to go. But I remember at first I was seeing that and I was like, oh, where is that supposed to be?
This is the Watchtower
So it
war
can
room,
get
our
a bit
state-of-the-art
confusing.
training
So
area.
don't worry if you get
Talk to
lost a
Beast
bit.
Boy for access to the simulator where you can practice other hero and villain moves. Ambush Bug takes care of our vault drops.
I'll show you in here a bit what we can find. Essentially, you have various consoles with either we have a truckload of emblems you can buy. Here we have masks, either mask or eyepieces. Both are sold here. We have our friend Ambush Bug. Here we have chest pieces and I think leg pieces in the bottom. Yep. Let's see. So you have all these consoles where you can essentially buy. Essentially, those consoles sell you the styles that you have at character creation. And here you have what is known as the sparring targets. So it's essentially some sparring dummies that you can attack to practice your powers. So you see more consoles, and we'll get out of here now. Now we have to go locate the reactor core. And the yellow arrow essentially points towards the south of the base. So let's go towards there. And as you know, if you noticed, maybe my mini map is not moving. I think by default the mini map is rotating. Personally, I find that very confusing, and I kept on being lost when the map was always turning. So there is an option where you can ask for the minimap not to rotate. I find that much better for me. Some people prefer when the minimap is rotating. For me, I find it very confusing. So I prefer to keep it stable, and it helps me get my bearings easier if the map isn't rotating around. So here we have more characters. You have Cyborg and Hawkman. They did a pretty good job on the model for Hawkman. Sadly, you don't see Hawkman all that much. You do see Cyborg in a couple of missions, but I think there's a bounty with Hawkman, and I think you see him in one mission. That's pretty much all you see. So now we have to go towards here. In this area, essentially,
Always nice to pass through the aquacultural area. A little green
you have the
spot
respect
amidst this
stations.
gigantic satellite. This
Essentially,
is where we
when you
keep
assign your
Star Labs
powers,
recalibrating attributes devices, or
it could
RADs.
happen at
Want to
some point that you
refocus your
realize that, oh,
skills to
I
refine
bought
your
a
knowledge?
I took a power that I didn't really want to take, or you take a power and you realize, oh, it's not very useful, and you want to replace it. This here is where it happens. Essentially, it costs you $500, and you can essentially change all your powers and all your skill points. So if at some point you look at your powers and skill points and think, oh, I didn't really take the right powers or the right skill point that I wanted, don't worry about it. It's going you're going to have the option to change it again. Here I'm going to take, as you saw, I have another power point. So I will take distract or intimidation. Let's go with. I'm going to take the distraction distract power, and for my skill point, let's try this one here. Oh no, let's go for the weapon. Let's upgrade this here. Let's see if my loadout is the way I want it to be. So here I will put my distract. Yeah, I'll put distract here. What does distract do? Essentially, it sort of almost puts you in what should be some kind of stealth mode. But you saw the character was flashing for a few seconds. Enemies won't be able to do damage to you. The useful part of that is that when you try to click on let's say on a console, or even better, when you try to raise a fallen player, essentially, if the enemies hit you, you won't be able to activate the console, or you won't be able to raise the fallen player. But if you use distract before, then the power will protect you and will allow you to click on the console or to reanimate the player that you're trying to reanimate without problem. So that's one of the useful part of this power. So essentially, for a couple of seconds, it will protect you from damage.
You're now part of a mighty, heroic tradition. Welcome, and make us proud.
So now we're done with that mission, so we'll complete it. And oh, we're level 11. Oh, and let's go to our shared bank. And let's use our new gloves. So why did I get those gloves, you're asking? Essentially, they're going to be able to allow me to mimic Wolverine's gloves, Wolverine's claws. It's pretty much just that simple and that silly. But in order to keep on seeing the claws, I'm going to essentially take away the weapon. Essentially, put the character barehanded. Like essentially, you can see I've collected a couple of various weapons, but to stay more or less true to the look of the Wolverine, I'll remain bare hands. So now when I'm fighting, I no longer have my weapon, but you can see my claws. Now if we look, essentially we have another mission that replaced the Watchtower one since we completed it, and it's the research and development mission, which will allow me to show you also why we gather exobits.
You'll want to do some R&D to
So
modify
let's
your
start by
equipment, or
getting
even
rid of
create some support items. The Lords of Order,
this.
Project Cadmus, and Magnus Robotics have
Okay.
stepped up to offer a hand.
So we have to talk to
Hello.
Mr. Will
Did
Magnus,
Aura
or Dr. Will
send you to
Magnus, I
talk
should
to
say.
me? Well, if she thinks you're ready to start working on some R&D, who am I to argue? Oh, yes. Who am I indeed? I'm Dr. William Magnus of Magnus Robotics. The JLA has asked me to take some of the new researchers under my wing, so here I am. The Lords of Order and Project Cadmus are here as well. For proper research, you'll need plans and the components.
So for those who are not that
You can
familiar
find
with
these
the
on
DC
missions
Universe
or
lore,
from R&D vendors.
essentially Will
You'll
Magnus
use
is the
that device
creator
over
of
there to
the
complete your projects. Here,
Metal
take
Man.
these items.
Essentially a
Those should
group
help
of
you get
robots, anthropomorphized robots, well, human-looking robots. And there's gold, platinum, iron, lead. Oh, and also we got a R&D scanner. I will show you what the scanner does at some point. So if we go to our journal, after talking to Will Magnus, if we go to our journal, you can see that we have to complete the mission.
Step right up and hear about the vault room of the random loot drop.
And completing the mission essentially gives us a recipe, like it gives us plans. Like we get a plan for aggressive exobits, for support exobite, for fortified exobite, vengeful exobite, tenacious exobite, durable exobite, and the power alpha. So that's what we get at first. So if we look in the crafting station, like we see essentially the exobite parts are what we need, are what we need to craft exobites. So you can see if we use 8 aggressive exobit, we can create 1 aggressive exobite. Yeah, it's confusing because they used exobit and exobyte, and people usually get confused between the two. If you do, don't worry, it's normal. A lot of people have a hard time between that. Ideally, they should have given them a very different name, like aggressive exobyte and aggressive, I don't know, whatever. And right now we have only one plan. It's to create some power alpha mod. Essentially the power alpha mod, you can see it gives 9 extra power to our characters. And what can we do with those exobytes? At some point in your gear, you're going to see, like in here, we have a yellow socket. So in that yellow socket, we're going to be able to put a yellow exobit, or exobyte, sorry. And that yellow exobyte will give us 1% critical ability attack chance. Like in this one, we have to put a red exobyte, which will give us 5 extra power, in addition to what the exobyte will do. So far, these are the only 2 pieces. Oh, and the ring. Same with the ring. The ring, if we put a yellow exobyte in it, in addition to what the bonus the exobyte will give us, we'll get 2 vitalization. So, and let's see if we could maybe buy a plan. Nah, too expensive. So at some point when we get a bit of money, we'll come back over here and I'll show you how we can craft, how we can actually craft. So essentially we're done with that part. And now there's the thing called Vault Ambush. It's essentially it's a mission where you have to use the vault. It's pretty much that simple. And I think it's starting with level 7 or something like that. You already can use the vault. If you go into the on duty menu, 1 player, you'll see like the vault is there. So let's do that.
Welcome, welcome, one and all, to Joker's room.
Essentially, this is an area where you see these gifts falling, and you have to break them. That's pretty much that simple. And you get surprises in those gifts. Like we got some peril gauntlets. You don't get actual items, save maybe 3 exceptions. What you get is styles. So you'll get various styles from the vault. So we got a logistic officer's pack. And there's one more here. So essentially, once you're done, you can look in your inventory. So we got a pair of gloves. Let's collect that. And we got a backpack. Let's collect that. There's no reason not to collect them if you can. It's only giving you styles. But the more styles you gather and the more feats you'll get, because essentially styles will give you feat. So as you saw, I equipped the vault ticket. Essentially, Ambush Bug gives us a vault ticket. You equip it where your potions usually are, and then you consume it. And ta-da! You're back in the vault. Why did I do it like that? Essentially, I was just trying to save a loading screen. I could have gone back to the Watchtower, and then from the Watchtower use the vault ticket, and then be back here, but that would have meant 2 more loading screens, and we see the loading screens often enough. The more you can avoid them, the better. I know at first it's no big deal, but after a while you get tired of seeing those loading screens. Power Girl is a nice looking lady, but at some point you don't want to see her anymore. You've seen her plenty of time, especially since also originally on PS3, holy crap, the loading screens sometimes would take forever. So after almost 4 years of playing on the PS3, you don't want to see those loading screens anymore.
That's it. Game's over.
So now we got a helmet style, and we got some more leg style.
That means now.
So we're done for here. So let's leave. So in the vault, usually you'll get a bunch of styles, and also some of those styles are like iconic T-shirts. Like you'll get the Batwoman T-shirt, you'll get a Green Lantern hoodie, Superman, I think Superman hoodie, the Batman hoodie. So essentially, you get various T-shirts. The Flash T-shirts. I have a Flash character that I'm using the T-shirt for, and that's where I got it. So once you're done with the Vault Ambush, you'll have a quest for your home base. So let's click on that. So essentially, the quest will give you various layers. You'll get the Gothic layer. Let's collect that. And you'll get the Deco layer. Let's collect that. And usually, if you bought some layers from the marketplace, now's the time to go get them. So let's take the redeem claim and see, do we have any layers? Let's go by. Okay, we have the tech layer. Okay. The interface doesn't want to cooperate.
Now that you have a theme for your base, you need to get a deed. These are used to actually grant base ownership and to select.
Sometimes the interface will freeze. Why? I have no idea. But sometimes there's no miracles. You have to leave the interface and come back. Some people would have thought that it was a PS3 problem, but sadly, as you can see, it happens on PS4 also. So let's go back, come back. Okay, here it's fine. Let's take the ancient layer, go back, and the last one is the cave layer. Now we're good to go. So let's go back to the journal. Now essentially we have a mission that will give us a deed. The deed is something you have to use in order to activate your lair.
Give it a go.
So essentially you choose the theme of your lair. As you can see, I have a few of those. So what could be good for a Wolverine guy? Well, let's go with the tech one. It kind of looks like the danger room from the X-Men mansion, so let's go with that. And also you can decide you put your mansion on your lair in Metropolis or in Gotham. So wrong thingy. And you can zoom in to try to see what the various layers are. Some you can get for just a bit of cash. Others you'll need a lot of cash, which makes me realize do I have enough cash? Yeah, just enough. So let's go somewhere on Metropolis that would be Wolverine-like. So as you can see, some of the layers are pretty expensive, like 25 marks of victory and $3,250. So it can be quite steep. Let's put it close to the university. That's where
All right.
the X mansion would be, I guess, since it's a school.
This is your mainframe.
So essentially you get your lair and you have your mainframe, which will be useful later down the line.
And powerful equipment mods. Your mainframe's power is maintained here as well, so be sure to keep it up so you can have access to more powerful features. This is your dispenser, where you'll retrieve the items that you've selected in the mainframe, such as communicators for your backup and orbital strikes. Finally, this is your base's control panel. It's used to enter decoration mode, alter some of the colors of your base, and for other utility purposes.
So let's go back to our journal. So essentially now we have a quest that will show us how to add items to the base. So essentially it gives you a few items, so you have to consume those items.
Check your inventory and collect the base items.
And once you have those items, then you can go back to your panel and go to enter decoration mode.
Now that you've added the base items to your base
and now you can add those items to your base. So we'll put the dinner clock, we'll put the table, and we'll put the lamp over here. At this point, it doesn't matter where you put those things, you're going to change that soon enough. So we leave that menu, and then go back again to the journal, and complete the mission. And of course we get another mission. Now we're going to be able to get what is called an armory, which is a pretty useful thingy.
I'm sure you'll uncover even more interesting things about your base. Good luck.
So here's your armory.
Don't forget to try placing those items.
So let's consume it. And also, let's go back to the marketplace.
Trouble in the Tomorrow district. Circe's bestiamorphs are all over the area.
Let's
which
go
means
back to the
Circe can't
redeem
be far
claim
behind.
section.
Zatanna in the Chinatown safe house can
Essentially,
give you further instructions.
in your base, in your lair, you can put amenities. There's two ways to get those amenities. The first one is to buy them from the marketplace, or there are certain collections that allow you to get those amenities. And as you can see, the interface freezes whenever I select one item. So no choice but to select it, leave, come back. Sadly, you only have a limited number of items that you can put in your base in terms of amenity. Well, you have a limit. I think it's 200 items on PS3 and like 400 or 500 items on PS4 and PC that you can put in your base. But when it comes to amenities, you can only put 6. And the teleporter counts as an amenity. So technically you have the teleporter and 5 amenities. There's no real reason not to put the teleporter unless, I don't know, for some reason you don't want to use it. But the teleporter is too useful. Pretty much everyone has one in their base. And even if you have multiple bases, essentially each base will have its teleporter, allowing you to teleport yourself from one base to the next. That should be the last one. Okay. So essentially, we have a bunch of amenities in our inventory, so let's consume them. And now let's place them. Usually I put my teleporter here. There's no good reason other than because. I'll put my mailbox close to the entrance. I usually put my bank right here. Again, no real reason for that. It's just how I started doing that. Actually, it's not how I started doing that. At some point, I was placing my amenities pretty differently. But since then, I pretty much decided to pretty much use that way. I'll put my crafting station here, or I'll probably change it at some point for some reason. But let's go with that right now. So come on. So essentially, you have a crafting table here, and you have your research vendor here, research development vendor here. So I can buy crafting items from here and use them here. It's pretty much why. And if I need things from my bank, the bank is right here. And if I need potions to craft potions, the potions are right there. So everything is more or less fairly close to each other. So I want to have to go across my base, all the way across my base just for that. Oh yeah, and let's. And also, one armory is not that useful So usually I'll put a second one by default. And, I have maybe one character where I did not put a second armory for some reason, but for our friend Wolverine, let's put a second one. So let's put them, well, maybe here. One here. And one here. Oh, I can't. Okay, let's go elsewhere. Okay. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. And let's remove this. So let's try that again. Okay, we'll go with one here. And one here. There we go. So now that we've placed our armories, now we can go and try to imprint. We can imprint a build. So this one will be our DPS armory. Essentially, we're going to make two armories, one DPS and one for our controller. I'll explain what the controller is after that. So essentially, what I did was imprint all. I said okay, and essentially I imprinted my not just my character's look, but also my loadout, my skill points, everything my character has right now is imprinted in this armory. Then I will go downstairs. I will click here. So you can see I have like what is known as build 2. Why is it called build 2? No idea. But I'm going to change the name at some point. I could actually activate the power level, but as you can see, it's like 1200, 1500, 1700. At this point, it's wasted. It's a waste of money to do that. I can see you can see in the mainframe also. You have to activate the generators. But right now I won't use any of those. The thing I would use right now is the tactical mods, but at this time it's pointless because I don't have any. I can't put any tactical mods in my equipment. It's something that I'm going to like the tactical mods. It's probably around level 30 something or early level 30s that I'm going to use that. I could use the sidekick or the backup before that. Um, just not sure which one I'll use yet, so I'll wait a bit. I'll wait a bit for that. So right now, no real point to activate the mainframe. And the same with the teleporter. Like right now, the only location I can go to is the Watchtower. So essentially, I can complete the armory mission. Essentially, it's a little mission that makes you explore how to use the armory properly. So essentially, once we're at past level 10 or starting at level 10, we can switch our character's role. Like you see, there's this little thingy that's saying switch role. Let's do that. So you may have noticed my loadout has completely changed. And in the corner underneath my level, there's a little spiral thingy that appeared. Essentially, that's the controller role. Like if I use my grenade, you can see it's giving me power back. Because that's what the controller does. The controller does give power back. As you can see. The little blue numbers is the amount of power I can give back. And for the love of God, if you guys ever play a controller, please, at the very least, use the power or this is known as the power overtime. Essentially, as time passes, it gives you power and power and power and power. If you play a troll, please use the power over time. There's so many trolls who simply just play as DPS characters. So all they do is damage, and they use the power just to do damage, and they don't give any power back. So I will try to take some time later on to explain a bit how the controller role works. But right now, let's see if I need to. Oh, I have another skill point. So let's use it for this. So essentially, as you see, I can have a loadout for stealth, a loadout for damage, and a loadout for control. So control, I never adjusted it yet. So let's do that right now. It won't be that different than the damage one right now, but at some point, as I gain more powers, it will be different. And already the effects of the powers are a bit different. Like essentially, if I use a grenade, I will gain power over time, and the same with the grappling. The not I keep on calling it grappling hook, but it's taser the taser line. Just a sec. Taser pull. I knew I would get it at some point. So essentially, the taser pull also gives power over time. Like if you see underneath my name, there's a little green lightning bolt. That means that the power over time is working. So let's try that. You see, as I use the taser pull, the little green lightning bolt appeared. So as long as that's there, it means that I'm gaining power. And see on a crit, I gained 120 power as opposed to 90 something. So ideally, you should use that at least every 20 seconds. So in order to be able to tell our troll from our DPS, we're going to try to make them different. So I will imprint the controller like this. Imprint all, yes. And also here you see we can change the icon. So let's change that for the controller symbol. We can rename it. Usually I'll name it something very profound like troll. And for the DPS, let's change the look around a bit. So essentially, you see we have the troll build, and we have build 2. We will also rename build 2. But for now, it does the trick. So let's try to see if we cannot change the look of our DPS. Oh, we got another. Let's try to go for the brown Wolverine look. That'll do for now. Let's get rid of the X for this one. Let's make the gloves brown for now. So if we imprint it, now we're gonna have our new brown look for that Wolverine guy. Also, we can now we can rename it. Again, I'll probably use something very profound like DPS. For those of you who might be wondering, essentially DPS means damage per second. It's usually the shorthand used to describe damage characters, like characters that will focus on doing damage. So essentially now you can see I have the new symbol for DPS and the symbol for troll, and I can switch it from one to the next fairly easily. Where there's a bit of a cooldown, you cannot spam your armories. There's a bit of a cooldown between both. So as you can see here, you have the power over time mechanic for the troll. And if we switch to DPS, once the lightning is gone, I will throw the grenade again, and you'll see that there will be no lightning because we're no longer trolled. We're in DPS mode. As you see, no more lightning, not even with the taser pull. But we have our little starburst back, which we don't have with the troll. Like, I don't know if you've noticed when I use powers as a troll. Wrong one. When I use powers as a troll, I do not get the little green starburst. Like if I use the power, I get the green lightning, but no longer do I get the green starburst. So ideally, if you get an the game gives us one armory per characters, but if you don't have a second one, you cannot change back and forth, and it makes the armories I won't say useless, but not very useful. I'm sure some people can find some sort of use of having only one armory, but ideally you want to have both. So let's see. Well, that's all we can do right now. Okay, so essentially we're done starting our lair. Our armories, our amenities are placed. There's nothing we can really do with the mainframe yet. There's nothing we can really do with the generator yet. So at some point, well, these things will be useful, just not yet. And the same with the crafting. Oh yeah, we could craft maybe. Can we? No, we can't. Okay, so I guess next time I'll try to show you a bit of crafting. So this should be it for now. hopefully it was helpful to help you understand a bit how the Watchtower works and also how to set up your lair. Next time, I'm going to try to show you a bit of how the crafting works. I may have to go farm for exobits. I'm not sure if I'll do that before the next time or if I'll wait until the next video to do to look around for exobits. I'll play it by ear, I guess. So again, thanks for listening, and I suppose I'll see you next time maybe. Have a good day.